Shteyngart, the author of Little Failure, Absurdistan, and The Russian Debutante's Handbook.
His books have made pretty much every year-end wrap-up best of with New York Times, Washington Post.
Oh. His books have been published in 30 countries.
He's really risen to the top of the literary ranks.
The New Yorker actually named him one of the 20 under 40 luminary fiction writers.
Whatever people want. They want the Jew, I'll get the Jew. You want a Russian, I'll be Russian. You want an American? All right. New Yorker, fine. Upstater, great. My worst critic will always be my parents. Because my dad would be like, oh, good reviews in New York Times, but I looked online and Misha from Murmansk says, we're finished, is it right?
You also wrote recently about what else was going on in your life.
Your experience with what you describe as a botched circumcision.
Yeah, it's funny already.
And now please join me in welcoming Gary Shteyngart.
Maybe that'll be my identity. I like that. The guy who got cut wrong. Yeah. Guy who got cut wrong. Where the hell is it? Mark Twain. Yeah, Absurdistan. This is the second novel I published. And the main character is called Misha Weinberg. He's kind of a son of a Russian oligarch with a botched circumcision and all kinds of euphemisms. An abused iguana, the bombing of Dresden. He has all these different ways to describe his penis. And I think people like that. I think his botched schlong was many reviewers noted his botched schlong. So I'll caution you that I don't know how to draw and represent things on paper, but let's try. Let's say this is the penis, this is the shaft. And here we have the glands, so we're doing kind of a basic mushroom scenario. This is the circumcised penis. Obviously, the foreskin has been removed. But what happened was it didn't heal properly, and this sometimes happens. And there was a skin bridge from around here, the tip of the glands, to the midpoint of the shaft, let's say. These 2 points. Again, I keep drawing this comparison to the cable of a suspension bridge, right? It was like, parallel to the shaft. And also there were bits of redundant skin all over the place, just pieces of skin hanging off, basically. And that made me really hate my penis. And I remember, trying to tuck it between my legs when I looked at myself in a mirror naked. Just something I really hated. But the skin bridge was just, I didn't even know better. I thought, maybe that's just how it works. I was very private about my penis because I didn't want anyone to see this. But also this feeling of insecurity, this anxiety, that, even as a little child, you weren't protected. They could do this to you. This is my favorite place to think. This is almost all of my books for the last 10 years came from walks like this, and sometimes from this exact walk. It's so quiet. And the tides coming in make a nice, pleasant noise. We would go to the Crimea when I was a kid in the summer, and it was beautiful. Peninsula, the water. I love this water, though. Hudson's a real working river. So you wanted to hear the story of how all this happened. Well, let me see. Let me choose a cucumber to best. Wow. Oh, I just want to eat these. This guy's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, this would be really a misrepresentation. No, let's do this. Thank you. I was born in the Soviet Union, in Leningrad, to a Jewish father and a half-Jewish mother. At the time, circumcisions weren't performed in the Soviet Union, mostly for political reasons. We emigrated when I was 7 years old. to come from a society like the Soviet Union that was so clearly failing and producing so little for its citizens other than alcoholism and strife, and then coming to America. I describe it as leaving black and white for pure Technicolor. It felt like you were in an advanced society. There were clover leaves in the sky. I remember we took a car and it was just going around and around. What the hell is this? And colored televisions that didn't explode like they did in Russia.
Honeycomb cereal gives you a beep, beep, bite.
We showed up wearing our furry shapkas and giant coats, etc. We looked like freaks. We settled in Queens. And my father quickly encountered an ultra-Orthodox Jewish person who went door to door around Brooklyn and Queens getting newly arrived immigrants to circumcise their kids. I'm sure he said that everyone in America is circumcised, or almost everyone. So it was not just being accepted by the religion, but it was also being accepted by the new country, which we desperately were trying to do. If this is what you do in America, this is what you do in America. I'm not gonna fight it. I don't think Russians say things like, well, it'll hurt a little or something, you know. I think it was just, you know, this has to be done, and yeah, that was it. I was taken to Coney Island Hospital, which, God bless them, is not a great hospital. I remember them putting a mask over me, and they told me to count backwards. You can only count in Russian.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I was so scared and confused. Everything became this weird kaleidoscope of like strange colors. It felt so alien and so invasive and violent in a way to have this count backwards. Well, I don't want it. And when I woke up, it was pain immediately. And it was bloody and just a mess. My father's always like, you gotta be tough. It couldn't touch anything. My mother made a hole in the sheet. The weird and sexually very confusing part was that relatives would come and just look at me and it, you know, so the Meshuggah runs deep, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff there. Remember that scene from The Godfather when he goes, my boy?
Look how they massacred my boy.
That's kind of how I feel, you know. You have to understand, with immigrant families, you feel like you're part of an army that's trying to do something. I was very hated at Hebrew school. I was the stinky Russian bear.
Some people say the bear is tame. Others say it's vicious.
Shunted, considered weird, crazy, poor. I would sit apart and just talk in Russian to myself. I really wanted someone to talk to. But I never could tell any of that to my parents. They were constantly worried they would lose their jobs. I started writing, and that's how I made my first friends in Hebrew school. When puberty did hit, and I started touching myself, I remember thinking, well, I can't break this skin bridge, right? Because then what would happen? I think it really messed up a bunch of, or at least, or even prevented some relationships.
My first kiss ever was on this bench. See, this country broke my penis, but it couldn't break my spirit.
The pain went away for about 40 years or so. Then something happened. I woke up one day and a hair tourniquet wrapped itself around the skin bridge. And I went to a urologist who removed it, and he said that the skin bridge would probably snap into two pieces very soon. So he said, you know, let's just remove it. But something went terribly wrong, and within weeks, I was in some of the worst pain of my life. And then I began to wear this, my wife said it was like the Elizabethan collar the dogs wear, except for the schlong. So it kind of looked like an Elizabethan collar, right? So you took Xeroform petroleum non-adhering dressing. It has this terrible smell. Oh God, this brings back so many horrible memories. To be or not to be. That is the question. Dab this, which is an tricyclic antidepressant, and apply it to both parts that are hurt. My friend Suketu Mehta, a wonderful writer, sent me a 6-pack of dotis. So if I was to avoid any kind of pain, I had to constantly hold on to this thing, you know? There was like a little air pocket here where my penis wouldn't touch the underwear. My cucumber dick is dripping. Oh, there's a cut in it. Oh my God, this is so not the correct way to put on a dhoti. I apologize to people from the south of India and just people in general. I apologize. Oh my God, I hurt my cucumber dick. And the constricting aspect of it is exactly how I felt, this feeling of, you know, being trapped. One of the things I was most scared of was that I could walk at most 10 minutes. So for a while I was thinking, I don't walk, how am I going to get these ideas? There was no one to tell me if this would ever end, and the idea of not being able to do anything, it was very painful to sit down. Erections were intolerable to the point where during the night I was just constantly worried that I would have erections and had to program myself before going to sleep into thinking about whatever the opposite of sexual thoughts were, you know, my parents. The fools. My son was, what, 7 at the time? And I remember right after his bath, he would run in and we'd play this game where I would pretend like he would make me say stupid things like, I am a crazy dad who eats skunks for breakfast or something like that. And I remember being on one of these drugs. It's an anti-nerve medication, gabapentin. And it made me hallucinate so much that I could barely communicate with him. It was just killing me. I didn't know what I could say back to him. I knew there was a rote script here, but I couldn't quite access it, you know? My mind was just tearing itself apart. It felt like a psychotic break. Yeah, it was a beautiful sky, I remember, just like that. Pink sky, and I remember looking out thinking, what the hell am I even doing here? Just looking out a 6th-floor window, thinking, geez, what am I doing here? Never had thoughts like that before. I'm not a happy-go-lucky guy, but, you know, I'd get by. Have a drink, have a nosh, travel places. The sky was this deep color of pink like that. And I just thought, what would it be like not to feel this pain no more, you know? There was a time when I would almost want to be religious to some religion and just bargain, you know, bargain with God. If you do this, if you get rid of some of this pain, not all of it, but some of it, you know. I think it's an especial cruelty, which is why so many cultures around the world have been attracted to the idea of going for that place. Because maybe the nature of our pleasure is so inexplicable. And the fantasies attached to it can seem so counter to our, to the version of morality instilled throughout the years that the only thing to do is to hurt that place. Gotta sacrifice a goat, I guess. I love you. You're my favorite sheep. You're just real cool. I love your horns and your wool. Oh, wow, look at this. There's like these mini mansions. Huh. Seems to be a real... Oh, that's it. That's where I grew up. So that's the motel. That's the room by the hour motel, and those are the apartment buildings over there. Oh. Union Turnpike, yeah. So one of the most fun memories I have is with my dad. We would go outside of this mental asylum to this big green field, and we would fly kites. There's a lot of symbolism there, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
My parents don't say I'm sorry so often, but I don't think there's a forgiveness aspect to this. I think I have anger towards my parents. I wish they were calmer people. I wish they were more open-minded about the world. In some ways, I wish they could escape the Soviet Union fully, but I don't think they or many of their compatriots can. So I think this is what it is.
There's an old German joke about how the Germans will never forgive the Jews for the Holocaust. And I thought, you know, the Moyles will never forgive me for my botched circumcision. Moyles. I've heard that the best circumcisions are at 8 days. No, they're at 7 years. No, they're at 34. No, it's when you're on your deathbed. Well, maybe there is no right time. I don't see this as a purely Jewish issue. You know, I see this as an American issue. And I don't privilege Jewish dicks over non-Jewish dicks. I want, you know, I feel better that nobody is in pain. Each year, there's less pain, but it never quite goes away. I've learned, for example, the kinds of shorts and jeans that work best for me. I really didn't think I would ever be able to, you know, even have sex again. Now, sex can still be very pleasurable. I'm trying to be super healthy because it's almost like revenge against what was done to me. But mentally, yeah, it's still a crazy soup up there. Did I tell you that I want to do a one-man show about my schlong? We started out the penis as a completely comical figure. I want him to come on the stage. I've been listening to some beautiful Christian church music. You know, there's a song called Amen. Baby in the manger, amen, you know. Beautiful. He can waltz on, he can kind of bop his way to the stage. Has these little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, and he gets on there. It's funny. And then I come out and say, penis, thank you. And I sit down and say, penis. And then I do the first surgery, ouch. And then we go back to the circumcision, maybe. I mean, we don't know what the order of this is yet. And in the end, you know, the penis isn't this fun figure, this joyous figure of laughter, because the idea is that we treat penises as a joke. So in the end of the show, I want to hug this guy. I want to say, I know we're connected, but I'm sorry for everything. I'm really sorry. I couldn't stand up for you when I was 7. I couldn't stand up for you when I was 49, you know? But I just turned 50, and shit, I can't let people fuck with you no more. I'm gonna fight on your behalf, you know? You're a part of me. You're my dick. Is that for me? It's my foreskin calling. I missed you. I've been having a wild time without you. I'm all lubricated. I went to Europe. I found asylum there. That's what genital pain feels like, a constant ringing, you know, like a genital tinnitus. Just calls and calls and calls. Call from foreskin missing. The rest of my life here. Ah, relief.